Hello, and welcome back to the MagniKid podcast. Today we're talking about something that can make a tremendous difference in a child's reading success, and that is creating a sustainable reading routine. Many parents start with the best intentions. They decide that from now on, their child will read every day for 30 minutes. They create a schedule, make a plan, and feel excited about the future. But after a few days, life happens. Someone got home late, there's sport practice, homework takes longer than expected, a family event comes up, and suddenly the reading routine disappears. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. The good news is that successful reading routines are not built on perfection. They are built on consistency. Today, we're going to talk about the difference between routines and rigid schedules and how to create reading habits that work for your unique family. Let's start with the difference between a routine and a rigid schedule. A rigid schedule says we must read every day at exactly 6 o'clock for exactly 30 minutes. That sounds good in theory. But real life is rarely that predictable. When something interrupts the schedule, many families feel like they have failed. And once people feel like they have failed, they often give up altogether. A routine is different. A routine says reading is something we do regularly. The exact time may change. The location may change. The amount of reading may change. But the habit remains. A routine is flexible enough to survive real life. And that is why routines tend to last much longer than rigid schedules. Think about brushing your teeth. Most people don't brush at exactly the same minute every day. But they still have a routine. Reading can work the same way. Instead of asking what exact time should we read, ask, where can reading naturally fit into our day? Maybe it's after dinner. Maybe it's before bedtime. Maybe it's while waiting for a sibling sport practice to finish. Maybe it's during quiet time on weekends. The goal is not perfection. The goal is regular exposure to reading. Now let's talk about family-specific solutions. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is trying to copy another family's routine. What works for one family may not work for another. A family with toddlers has different challenges than a family with teenagers. A family with evening activities has different needs than a family that spends most evenings at home. That's why it's important to create a reading routine that fits your lifestyle. Start by looking at your family's normal week. When are the calm moments? When does your child have the most energy? When are distractions at their lowest? Those are often the best opportunities for reading. For some children, reading after school works well. For others, they're tired after school and do much better before bedtime. There is no universal solution. The best routine is the one your family can maintain consistently. Another important principle is to start small. Many parents believe they need long reading sessions to see progress, but consistency matters far more than length. 10 minutes every day is often more effective than 1 hour once a week. 10 minutes feel manageable. 10 minutes is easier to fit into busy schedules. And 10 minutes repeated regularly adds up to significant progress over time. Remember, the goal is to build a habit. Small habits are easier to maintain. Another helpful strategy is to make reading visible. Keep books where children can easily reach them. Place books in bedrooms, living rooms, or even in the car. When books are visible, reading becomes a natural option. When books are hidden away, they are often forgotten. You can also connect reading to existing habits. For example, if your child always has a snack after school, perhaps reading happens immediately after. If your bedtime routine already includes brushing teeth and getting into pajamas, perhaps reading becomes the next step. Linking a new habit to an existing habit often makes it easier to maintain. Now let's talk about flexibility. Some days will not go according to plan. There will be busy days, there will be tired days, and there will be difficult days. That is normal. Missing one day does not mean the routine has failed. What matters is returning to the routine as soon as possible. Many people abandon good habits because they think consistency means perfection. It doesn't. Consistency means coming back again and again, even after interruptions. Another important thing to remember is that reading should not always feel like work. Sometimes reading can be shared. Sometimes it can be listening to a story. Sometimes it can be reading a recipe, instructions, a magazine, or an interesting article. The goal is to build a reading culture within your family. A culture where reading is seen as valuable, enjoyable, and normal. Children are more likely to develop strong reading habits when they see the adults around them valuing reading too. When children see parents reading books, magazines, newspapers, or articles, they learn that reading is something people do throughout life. The example is powerful. As we come to the end of today's episode, remember this: you do not need a perfect reading schedule. You need a sustainable reading routine. Focus on consistency rather than perfection. Create a routine that fits your family. Start small. Stay flexible. And remember that every page read is a step forward. Because strong readers are not built throughout occasional bursts of effort. They are built through small, consistent habits repeated over time. Thank you for joining me in today's episode of the MagniKid podcast. And remember, the best reading routine is the one your family can actually maintain. See you in the next episode.